I will not give you a list here, because my mistakes are far more than a neat, bulleted response. My mistakes were the greatest lessons I ever learned. Last year, I launched a startup called Bumble Brain Box, a subscription box for baby brain development. I was entering the e-commerce subscription box space while the rest of my experience was in running brick-and-mortar franchises in Texas. I was a newlywed, also. That being said, my husband and I began the business together. For me, this was mistake number 1. Some people can work really well with their significant other, but for us, it did not work out. It fundamentally changed our relationship from a playful, adventurous marriage to one that was stressful and deadline-driven at all times. I worked hard, not smart, which was mistake number 2. I was afraid to delegate. I wanted to do it all. I overloaded my body and mind to save a few dollars, which I could put into marketing and grow even faster. Yes, we grew very fast, but it came at a heavy price. My health began to decline dramatically, and I did not make it a priority. Mistake number 3. My anxiety and panic disorder worsened to the point where I could barely function, my body ached, I developed 2 painful herniated discs in my spine that sent shooting pain down my body, and my muscles were so tight that I could barely sit upright. Couple that with sleepless nights, panic attacks, and working 24/7, and you can see where it led. Eventually, my health collapsed and my relationship would have if we did not make the decision to sell our business. Luckily, we found a great buyer. Our business was successful. We were profitable within our first month, scaled to over 6 figures within the first year, and were featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Huffington Post, and more. We developed tens of thousands social media followers and gained recognition from almost everyone we knew. But it wasn't worth it because we did not balance our life with our work. As an entrepreneur, your first venture can be overwhelming. You're in uncharted waters, learning how to manage inventory, payroll, and customer service, to name a few. Meanwhile, you're trying to remain dependable to your customers, and profitable in your new business. But in addition to lacking experience, first-time entrepreneurs have the added responsibilities of dealing with the unexpected problems that inevitably arise. It's important to remember mistakes are part of the learning process, especially in a young business that doesn't have any formal processes in place yet. Success comes down to your ability to navigate these uncertainties and deliver results. My experience as an entrepreneur started in 2nd grade, when I began selling produce taken from my mom's refrigerator. I always liked making money, and I never feared starting a business. The experience of opening my first franchise company, Yogli Mogli, a frozen yogurt chain, taught me more than decades of hustling in Israel, New York and Las Vegas. By the time I opened Kale Me Crazy, my current chain of superfood cafes, I had learned invaluable lessons about being a founder. Now, as a seasoned entrepreneur, I know how to avoid missteps. Here are a few of the mistakes I made, or saw firsthand, that you should keep in mind when starting your first company. 1. Be crystal clear about your brand and its values. As a business owner, it's vital you define what you're offering, who your target customers are, what niche you're in, what your company stands for. Clarifying your brand and your goals is key to entering the right market for your business. This requires some tinkering and experimentation, as well as a keen eye on how to convey your concept to customers. Many businesses fail because they don't target their ideal clientele, potential consumers. You need to clearly position your brand and then situate your concept in a location that caters to your desired client. This means scouting a location that's not out of their way, for example somewhere they tend to live or frequent. This is one of the most common things I see people get wrong. To succeed, you need to know your brand, effectively convey yourself and locate within reach of your target consumers. After all, if people don't understand what you offer, they'll hesitate to engage with you. 2. Don't do things halfway. When you're starting your first company, it can be tempting to cut corners to save time and money. But this can cause more headaches and expenses down the road. Sometimes you can get away with using cheaper materials on things like countertops or light fixtures, but not for things that make up the heart of your business. For example, when I was running my yogurt chain, A friend of mine was starting his own yogurt shop in another state, but he opened with cheap, used equipment. He bought a used yogurt machine online that poured out a yogurt with bad consistency, which affected the quality and flavor. It ruined his image and reputation, and the shop shut down in just 6 months. Instead of setting up shop in a haphazard way, it's much more efficient, and cheaper, to design your store correctly from the beginning. If you don't have the budget to accomplish this, wait until you get more money.